This is Religion in the News, sponsored by Wish TV, in cooperation with the Church Federation of Greater Indianapolis.
Good morning. Welcome to Religion in the News. I'm Jeffrey Payne, and joining me today is Julie Ruprecht. Our guests today talk about an exciting performing arts ministry, celebrating Earth Day on Good Friday, and the important work of social workers. News 8 also reports on the passing of a Hoosier icon. Stay tuned. In developing news, many are waking up to learn that Indiana billionaire Bill Cook has died. Friday night, we learned that Cook passed away in his Bloomington home. Cook had been sick for the last few years. He was the founder of the medical device maker Cook Group. And while shunning the spotlight, we captured these pictures of him during a visit by the Dalai Lama in 2007. While many may know him for his philanthropy, many more know him best for founding the Star of Indiana Drum and Bugle Corps in Bloomington, Indiana in 1984. This organization gave hundreds of young people, including myself, the opportunity to travel the country and compete against the best music and marching units in the world. The pinnacle of success came in 1991 when his group won the Drum Corps International World Championship in 1991. Cook was 80 years old and leaves behind his devoted wife, Gail, and a host of families and friends.
My guest today is Bob Hay, who is here to talk about an exciting performing arts ministry. Welcome to Religion in the News.
Thank you, Julie.
So good to have you here today. And you're the executive director of the Caritas Worship and Arts Conference.
That's correct.
Wonderful. Well, tell us, you're calling all artists for this festival coming up this summer. Tell us a little bit about this event.
This is an annual event. It happens in the Chicago area. We do get people that come from Indianapolis, and it's an arts, it's kind of a training and equipping conference for those who feel they have artistic gifts and want to know how can God use these gifts, and how can I grow in my ability to use these gifts. So we're nurturing, encouraging, and equipping artists. And by that, all the artists, musicians, dancers, mimes, actors, filmmakers, writers, visual artists.
And who attends this event? Are they aspiring artists? Are these professional artists? Who is this event intended for?
Well, I think we get a cross-section, but many of them are just people with a vision, people with a dream, maybe a dream that has in a sense been squelched at some point in their life. You know, for so long in the churches, we didn't have a place for the arts. If you were a piano player, an organ player, or a singer, we could use you, but if you had any other artistic gift, the church wasn't really a welcoming place. So we get churches that send people that need to be trained. We get individuals who maybe are in ministry, in the arts, but want to grow deeper in their understanding of how to use their gifts. A real cross-section, actually.
And who leads this festival? You bring in artists from around the country.
We bring, typically, it's not a large conference attendance-wise. It may be 300, it may be 350 people, but we will, in a typical year, we'll have 40, maybe 45 teachers. So the ratio is good. There's a lot of interaction. There are a lot of hands-on workshops. There are tremendous celebrations every evening where you see all of the arts. There's worship, there's teaching, and maybe there's processionals with dance, flags, banners. There's typically one or two artists on stage, maybe a painter, maybe a sculptor, maybe a chalk artist. So,
can you give us kind of a taste of what goes on in one of those conference rooms? What can someone expect who's coming to attend?
Well, like I said, a lot of the workshops are hands-on, especially this year. For instance, take our film, well, not the film track, our theater track. This year, it's going to run in two tracks. One is a script writing, you know, a playwriting track, and then there's another director-actor track where actors will be teamed up, maybe 2 to 3 actors with a director, and they'll be working on short sketches. And we'll take the best of those and we'll show them, or we'll present them on the main stage during either one of the general sessions in the afternoon or one of the evening sessions at night. A lot of the visual arts workshops are hands-on, where you're actually creating.
Well, we actually have a clip of that event. Let's go ahead and show that promo. There's a lot of dance and theater, as you've mentioned. Let's see a little clip of that event.
Okay.
Of the glory, of the glory, just wandered into workshops that ended up discussing things about where my heart is at.
Caritas has just been a really great thing because it's been encouraging me and my gifts.
If you've never been to a conference like this or arts conference at all, this is the one that you have to come to and just experience. It's a time of worship, a time of praise, and just a time of freedom.
Wow, what an exciting conference. There's a lot going on there. How have you seen this event change lives?
Well, we have seen people touched. We had a dancer come. She was Chinese. She didn't know that God could use dance. We had met her at a Sunday school conference. And after coming to our conference for 2 years, she felt God calling her to move to China. She and her husband left, and we prayed for them on our closing night in 2007. Sent them out to China as missionaries using the arts. They have seen thousands of souls come to Christ. She comes back every year with slides. Had they gone as missionaries or evangelists, they wouldn't have gotten in the door. But you can take the arts and you can go to places that are closed to the gospel. Even in this country, we're in a visual age, and the things that we do now in church, we didn't do 20 years ago. We didn't learn how to do these things in Bible school. So conferences are the place where people with artistic gifts who want to use them for Christ, they have to go to a conference to learn. And so Caritas, we feel, is a good one.
And Caritas takes place in Illinois. Tell us again the information about the event.
It's July 14, 15, and 16 in the suburbs of Chicago. They can go to our website, www.caritas. They'll see that there are dozens and dozens of workshops in 6 or 7 different tracks. So if you're on the church worship team, if your church is using praise dance, if you have a drama ministry, if your kids are doing mime, whatever it is, the chances are you're going to learn more about how to do it and how to do it effectively and how to glorify God with your gift at a conference like Caritas.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being with us here today, and we're encouraged to hear about all the ministry that you're doing there in Illinois, so we thank you for that and hope to have you back sometime soon.
Very good.
Thanks so much.
You.
Back to you.
Thanks, Julie. My guest talks about celebrating Earth Day on Good Friday when Religion in the News returns. Good morning. My guest today is Callie Smith, who is here to talk about celebrating Good Friday. Check that, Earth Day on Good Friday. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
I tell you, that's a tongue twister. Celebrating Earth Day on Good Friday. Now, you've got an event coming up. Tell us about that event.
We do. It's this coming Friday, April 22nd, downtown at the Earth House Cafe. And it's a special worship experience open to the public, a chance to explore a very interesting coincidence this year, which is that Earth Day falls on Good Friday. And as you probably know, Good Friday is the time when many Christians in our community are taking a special moment to remember the suffering and death of Christ on the cross. And Earth Day is a day, 40 years now, we've been trying to pay more attention to the health of the earth and to our connection with the earth. And I think it's a fascinating fact that Earth Day and Good Friday coincide this year, because where Christians in our community are going to be remembering the time when Christ took on the pain and suffering of the world, Earth Day is challenging everyone in our community to remember that the pain and the suffering in this world is not limited to human suffering, that the earth, that animal life, plant life, all of our lives are connected. And this is a special worship experience to help participants remember that, explore that, and figure out what that means in our lives today.
Now, when I hear Earth Day, sometimes I think about recycling. Is that a part of that as well?
It's a part of that. The depletion of resources, the extinction of animals, the pollution of our environment. There are so many issues across our globe today, and I think Earth Day is just one opportunity for us to take a day to pay attention, to remember, to explore how our daily choices can affect the world around us, and hopefully be more intentional about making some better choices.
Wonderful. Now, how did you become so passionate about Earth Day?
Well, I think it's been through my my work at Christian Theological Seminary. I think growing up as a Christian, I wasn't always thoughtful about the connection between my own faith and the world, the earth, the health of the environment. And I think at Christian Theological Seminary, it's a community of Christians who are paying more and more attention to what our faith tells us about how we live in this world and how we care not only for our neighbor and love our neighbor, but also the entire creation that God has given us as a gift. And so I think it's come out of sharing space with some people who are very passionate about that connection between spirituality and the way we live in this earth.
Now, speaking of Christian Theological Seminary, you are an ordained reverend.
I am an ordained minister. I graduated from Christian Theological Seminary back in 2007, and I've stayed on there now to work in their continuing education program. And it's been a blast. It's a wonderful place, people from all sorts of different backgrounds, Christian and otherwise. We've also got some Jewish rabbis, some Muslim imams who teach with us sometimes as well, and it's a beautiful thing to get to share faith and life with people in this community.
Now tell us about your call to the ministry.
It's been an amazing journey, I would have to say, but I think the story of God's salvation in this world, it's something that we can read in the Bible, and yet the chance to connect our own stories with God's story is something it takes the mentors and the teachers in our lives to help us really make that connection. And I would have to say I've been blessed over the years with many amazing pastors and preachers and teachers and storytellers, and part of my calling has come out of that appreciation, wanting to be one of the people who helps others, helps young people make those connections in their own lives.
Wonderful. Now, what's going to happen at the cafe to acknowledge Earth Day on Good Friday?
Well, we are going to have, the worship is going to be an opportunity for guests to visit different stations around the cafe, out in the garden, up in the sanctuary, moving from station to station, and to encounter passages from Scripture, some traditional prayers, and to encounter those alongside issues like extinction of animals and depletion of resources, and to see what those say to each other, and to be in prayer about some of those issues, and to explore how their faith connects them with those issues. It'll be a time to move from station to station, to pray together individually, to engage in some symbolic actions to help them connect with what are some of the Earth Day related issues in our community and what their faith says to them about those issues.
So they're becoming more informed about Earth Day as well as Good Friday, the connection between the two, exactly, and how we can all take part in helping to preserve and save the planet.
It is.
Wonderful. Now, we do have some information for our viewers if you want to learn more about Earth Day and Good Friday. Celebrating Earth Day on Good Friday will take place on April 22nd at 6:30 p.m. at the Earth Cafe House, and that's located at 237 North East Street. And for more information, the phone number is area code 317-403-8393, and the admission is free. That all rhymed. How about that? Perfect. So it's going to be a great time for you all, and I do hope that people come out and take part in this great event.
We're very excited.
That is outstanding. Well, thanks so much. And when we come back, we'll have guests that will talk about the important work of social workers right after this break.